Good morning, brothers. This is what today's talk's about. Fucking, my legs are so skinny they look like fucking threads hanging off my shorts. How are you? It's about walking around bare feet and stopping to do this. That one actually doesn't smell so strong, but the ones over here are really just delicious. These are really old-fashioned rose, like a really old one. I've got to be careful I go in here with bare feet because there's thorns and stuff in here. But these, and there's one right in here I'm going to try to get to. These are just unbelievable. Holy shit. When you smell that, oh, get you high. Now it's interesting that women that wear a little bit of rose oil sometimes like that, it's one of the most expensive oils in the world because it takes hundreds and hundreds of roses to make the smallest amount of oil, and they wear it. But it's actually the men that love to smell the rose oil. It's like not an aphrodisiac, but it sort of gets the man stimulated towards the woman. So if you smell a woman that's got rose on her, it'll just drive you insane. If it mixes with that woman's body smell himself. And I know that if my girlfriend's got a bit of rose on her, it's like I'm useless. I'm like I'm hopeless. I like fall to bits. God, I'm a slave. I'm a yes man, whatever you want, because it just melts me. Anyway, walking around barefoot's where I started with this video. And this will be the most hippie thing you probably hear from old Clay. But walking around like this with your bare feet every day is good because it grounds you. It gets you in contact with the reality of being human on earth here in this life. And so much of our world today is on the bloody phone or on computer or looking at stuff outside of ourselves. But being grounded means being grounded, literally, because we are so ungrounded through this modern life we live in. Yes, you'll get prickles in your feet. My feet are tough because I walk around quite regularly with my shoes off. Like I'm walking over sharp stones now and I don't even feel it, because I'm used to it. And my son and my daughter, particularly my son, have been barefoot forever since they were kids, and they're still barefoot. And it's a nice feeling. So the other thing too it does is, as you walk over these rocks, it massages your feet. Like each one of these stones is hitting pressure points. And the other thing too is your body has a thing down on your feet that regulates your temperature. It's a thermostat, and it tells your body what the temperature is and sets your temperature right. So I'm walking around here. Beautiful day. It's cloudy actually, but it's a beautiful day, and my body's much more in balance because of the feet getting this message. Now there's a lot of science behind it, and I just think you don't have to read all the science. Just go barefoot and get your feet tough enough and walk around on barefoot for a bit. I used to be a barefoot runner. I used to do a lot of running, and I got shin splints, and it wasn't until I threw my shoes away. It took me 2 to 3 years my legs and my calf muscles to change, to adapt. So if you're going to do barefoot running, do it very slowly. Make the transition slowly, because you got to train your ankles and your feet to step differently, to not heel strike, because when you wear shoes you tend to heel strike because you've got the soft natural cushion, which is not natural, and you tend to heel strike, and that's what causes shin splints. So I did a lot of running. My last race was, and it was a race, well, it was 50, so it was 7 years ago. I did that in 49 minutes. It was a 10k hill race over in Kaiteriterre, and that was 7 years ago. And since then, I stopped barefoot running. And I don't really know, the main reason was I had an accident, but when I was hunting, and I never really got back into it, and I probably should, or could. Not should as shit, could. So just walking around here before I walk the dogs, having a quick talk to you about stopping to smell the roses, and that's a metaphor, of course, for life. We get caught up in so much stuff. I read this morning, or last night actually, the news came through, and I actually looked at the stats this morning. COVID is now in Mapua, where I live. Actually someone, well not in Mapua, but the person on the Tracer app went to the shops that I went to, and this whole area, so I guess that's something new to look forward to. It's in the area, and we really got that. And meanwhile, that's a distraction to other big things that could be worse. Like right now, the Chinese have nuke powers way beyond what the Americans have. The nuclear capabilities of the Chinese is actually outside physics that the Americans can understand. So All these things that everybody's like fearful of, I'm thinking, well, fuck. I don't actually have any fear of what could happen down the track. I don't worry about that, but I do think about the next generation, my kids, and then their kids, and think, holy shit, people my age, if you're my age in your 50s, you grew up in the best time, man. We went out, we made love, we hunted, we drank, we danced, we had our pig dogs and went hunting every we want. We'd caught fish for miles, we walked on the hills. We've had so much freedom, and the world now is rapidly changing, and I really feel for the next generation. I think my generation has been very blessed, and if you are in your 50s, you really need to stop and reflect. We've had freedom like you wouldn't believe, and now with all these mandates, freedom's been taken away, and we're almost becoming like, feeling like what it must be like to be in a communist state. Imagine that. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the end of democracy. We've had democracy, the last 500 years, and it almost feels like it's starting to slip away. But whatever happens, and whatever the politicians, and whatever party you belong to, and whatever's going on, and whatever your beliefs are around that, the most important thing is how you feel inside yourself. They can't take that away from you. They could try, but it's up to us and every one of us. Whatever that happens around the world, whatever sicknesses come along, cancer, heart disease, COVID, nuclear war, at the end of the day, it's going to be you that decides on how you feel. Here's another one to stop and smell, and you can see down here what the tips we've already cut off for the tea. This is mint. My son's cut these tips off for tea, and I'm going to take one right now, just like this, and go like this. Oh, it smells great. That's a refreshing smell. It's lemon. The other one that I really love is the lemon balm. Oh man, that's good. You've got to stop and smell stuff, man. I'm just walking through here, smelling that. I can actually smell the roses mixing with the lemon as I walk past the rose bush. It's just beside me. And what I want to find is I want to find some lemon balm. Here's some lemon balm over here. This is refreshing, but when you sort of screw it up like this, it tends to get a wee bit musky. Whereas the lemon balm, there's some wild lemon balm growing down here somewhere. There it goes. Oh, I'm standing on blackberry here. I can actually feel the blackberry going in. Here's the lemon balm down here. See that? Oh, that's my favourite. Lemon balm. Oh, fuck, that's good. Lemon balm is just... Oh, man, that's great. Smell. Yeah, stop and smell the roses, but also stop and smell the lemon balm. Holy shit, that's good. It almost gets you high. Oh, really good. Anyway, today's talk's just a morning bro. What do we do today? What solutions do we find for problems? I guess it's about this. Take your shoes off, get grounded, stop and smell the roses, and be grateful for being alive. Because we're all in nature, sooner or later we're going to get sick and die. That's the reality. No point worrying about that. That's going to happen, and you'll deal with it when it comes. Or you won't. But meanwhile, right now, your arms and legs aren't going to drop off, so stop and smell the roses, smell the lemon balm, smell the mint, take your shoes off and feel the ground. Oh, look, down here, look at this. I'm going to make a tea right now. Check this out, right here where I am. See this down here, look. You know what that is? That's chamomile. Natural chamomile, and that is so soothing. If you can't sleep, you pick some of that, smack it into a tea. And you can buy chamomile tea in a box so cheap, and I'll tell you a wee secret. If you go buy chamomile tea and you use your tea bag, take a tea bag take a fresh one and plant it in some seeding mix or just a bit of dirt lightly, and it'll grow, because it's the seeds which they have for chamomile tea, the flower, they have the seeds in it, and you can actually grow chamomile tea and grow your own plants, and the tea is way cheaper than going buying seeds. I'm going to pick a few more of these and make a tea this morning. and say goodbye to you guys. Have a brilliant day. Go steady. We'll see you in the next video. I'm going to make a chamomile tea. See you later.